The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. Today's Ramble is proudly sponsored by High Point Access Limited, your one-stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. Please find their details in all the links below. Thank you again to High Point Access for your continued support of the Blades Ramble.
Like and subscribe to Blades Ramble.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is Rumour Has It. So, Rumour Has It, according to Football League World, West Ham United are interested in Sheffield United left-back Harrison Burrows. Interesting. Sheffield United are in a summer of transition, as we all know. We are coming out of parachute payments. We're no longer in receipt of parachute payments. We have to cut our cloth accordingly. And that is hard for a lot of us to get our heads around. I understand that. We will have to lose some players this summer. The big ticket players, if you like, that we've already talked about and sort of assumed would be the names being linked away are Gus Hamer. Sidney Peck is also another name that we think, while the iron is hot and his value is high, that he will attract a lot of interest. Lesser so, but still within the mix, has always been Harrison Burrows. Will he reach a level of interest where clubs will offer an amount that Sheffield United have to consider? Well, ultimately, we have to consider any offer. And it's also in a position where it's questionable as to whether he is now our best player in that side. Does he get in our best 11? That's the first thing we have to ask. And if the answer's not a straight yes, then he's certainly available for consideration of being sold. He has to be. He's on good money, from what we understand. And let's strip this back a little bit. Harrison Burrows came in 2 seasons ago, summer before last. And he came in at a similar time to Michael Cooper. And I always sort of pair them together because they came in around the same time. But I think they were both really shrewd signings, really clever signings. How old is he? How old is Harrison Burrows? He's 24. And captained Peterborough at such a young age, played really well at League One level. In total, for Peterborough, he played 185 times. He got 20 goals for them and 39 assists. And he had 37 of those games in the Championship with Peterborough. So we knew what we were getting, a great young prospect. It was rumoured to be around 3 million quid that we got him for. And I think we were all delighted at the time. And I still think there's a big part of me and most likely some fans that hold out hope that this kid could be our left back for the next 5, 6, 7 years, if not longer. Because there is certainly a lot of untapped potential there. And in that first season, I think he played 46 times for us. He scored 6 goals and got 6 assists. And for me, that's a really good, for a left back, that's a really good return. We knew what we were getting. He's an attacking fullback, creative. His question marks come with his defensive duties, and people wonder whether he is a strong enough defender to play at top-end Championship and potentially Premier League. Well, the first thing I have to look at and sort of pull back on is we're no longer in a conversation for. We can, and we talked about this previously when we looked at what Hull have done. We can no longer just say, well, we'll only sign young players or keep young players if they've got the potential to go on to be Premier League players. I don't think we can have those luxury conversations anymore. If we were looking at Harrison Burrows, we wouldn't be judging whether he can make step up to Premier League level. We'll be judging if he can have an immediate impact at Championship level first and foremost. And I think that's something that you've got to take into consideration. His first season with us, as I say, 6 goals, 6 assists. looked really well. Looked like he'd scored the winner at Wembley. We can't forget in that playoff final that I don't know why we keep circling back to it, but it's a huge moment in our history. Sliding doors moment if I've ever seen one. And then, since he scored that ghost goal in the playoff final, which was chalked off, obviously, I don't think he's been the same player. He hasn't looked happy to me. And whether that's a knock in confidence, whether that's the frustration of not getting what he wanted in terms of the promotion that he felt, and I'm sure a lot of us felt that they deserved on the day, and maybe felt hard done by VAR or whatever it might. Whatever reason it is, he has not looked the same player. And he came back, and I appreciate it was under Ruben Sayers, and that sort of set a few players back in terms of confidence and confusion in style. When Chris Wilder came back in, he talked a lot about just having clear, concise messages to the players so they understand how we play. But Burrows never really got his rhythm back. And not only was that the case, that when Chris Wilder came back in, he went with Burrows for a few games, but Sam McCallum had come on as a strong backup option, and that is ultimately what Sam McCallum was seen as a backup option to Harrison Burrows. And Sam McCallum won the shirt. Sam McCallum became our starting left back on merit, was one of the better players of last season in what was a poor season overall, but McCallum was in the team on merit. And Burrows had to settle for making appearances off the bench. It was only when McCallum got injured towards the back end of the season when Burrows got a starting berth back. So the thing you have to ask yourself is, if West Ham are interested in Harrison Burrows, is it a deal we want to do? Does it depend on the price? Do we have to think about the fact that he's not guaranteed to be a starter in our best 11 at the moment? So, it's Football League World that are reporting this, and I've done some work with Football League World. The only caveat I will say is it's an exclusive from them, and there's no other sources reporting this at the minute. So I'll just keep an eye on it, as opposed to it's definitely something that's going to happen. But they are reporting it as an exclusive. They have hit the nail on the head with exclusives in previous times as well that we've talked about as well. So I'm not going to spoil the article for you. Go over and check out Football League World's article on this. But I'd be upset to see Harrison Burrows go, because I always want us to build around good, strong young players, but with high ceilings. And I certainly think he's got a high ceiling. But we are, again, in a boat where we have to think about who can impact us in the here and now. If you could promise me the Harrison Burrows from 2 seasons ago, I'm saying no sale, no deal, go away West Ham. If we get in the Harrison Burrows of last season, I'm coming to the table for a conversation. You also have to consider, it's a little bit like when you're thinking about making a manager change. Who's available in the market to replace them? So you wouldn't sack a manager if there was nobody, unless they were doing terribly bad, unless there was somebody better available. So if we're going to sell Harrison Burrows, sometimes the money's too good to refuse, and then you have to go for a plan B, C, D. But if we're selling Harrison Burrows and we know an offer's on the table, then what left backs are out there? And I've already seen a couple of names being thrown out there. Dennis Serkin, who's getting freed by Sunderland, is an absolute tap-in for me. If we can get £5 million for Harrison Burrows and replace him with a Dennis Serkin or similar, then I think it's an absolute no-brainer. It would leave with my best wishes. I think we will not necessarily rue the sale of Harrison Burrows, but I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was to leave for a West Ham or anybody else for that matter, if he doesn't go and kick on and have a really strong career and do really well at the level. I just think we are in a position now where we're quite vulnerable to player sales, and we have to be open-minded with, yes, we don't want to sell our best players, but we may have to. There's also the conversation as, does our formation best suit him? I think, again, we've spoken about he's played very well in this formation previously, but last season it didn't really work for him. So maybe it's a fresh coat of paint that he needs. Maybe it's just a full pre-season with Chris Wilder again to get him back to his old self, if you like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm really keen as to whether you would be willing to accept a bid for Harrison Burrows, or whether you think we should stick by him and look to offload other assets that we've got at the club, because in him we've got a potential left back for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for joining me. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. All the blades!